Password accepted.
Hey guys, it's your girl Cameron and I'm back at it again with another video. And today I'm going to be doing a commentary on the rise, the fall, the rise, and the fall again of teenage pregnancy shows, specifically reality TV. It's going to give us kind of a broadened scope of why these shows became so popular, when did they become popular, what were the actual effects, because there's a lot of debate on if they were good or if they were bad, and if they're still relevant today. I mean, let's talk about it. Like, comment down below. Did you used to watch any teenage pregnancy shows? Do you still watch them? I just thought this would be quite interesting because as a kid to a teenager to a young adult, I've watched these shows, and it's kind of interesting to take a step back and see how it affected myself and just the overall social commentary of these shows as a whole. So hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content and commentary like this. But without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. Let's go. Specifically in the 2010s, we saw this rise of teen pregnancy shows. I was around 10, 11, 12 when these shows really started to pop. The thing about this type of show, right, was it fascinated viewers, oddly so. It was kind of like watching a car wreck, right? It feels wrong to watch it and enjoy it, but you can't help it. It was kind of this untapped story of, hey, we have all these reality shows that are really bursting at the seams, right? Especially this early 2000s. Reality shows were a hot commodity, but what is a demographic and an interesting story point that's realistic and that a decent amount of people can relate to, but they really can't? There was this double-edged sword, right? It's like it's entertaining, informative, but is it really? So my question is, what caused this increase and how did it prevail via TV? So first and foremost, let's talk about teen mom statistics up until around that early 2000 point. So from about 1990 to 2002, for ages 15 to 19-year-olds, there was an estimated record low for the nation. So actually, teenage pregnancy rates did decline since the 2000s, interestingly enough, because you would think if these shows were making way, that there would be some sort of increase. An estimated 757,000 pregnancies amongst teenagers 15 and 19-year-olds rate was estimated at 76.4% per 1,000 females aged 15 to 19. So that was actually down 10% from the year 2000. And actually in 2007, 4.2% of teenage girls in the US gave birth. And in 2014, the rate was 2.4%. So as we can see, there was a steady decline in teen pregnancy before these shows kind of popped off and while they were happening. Actually, teenage pregnancy hit its peak around 1991. So we're going to revisit some of these statistics because this is going to have a lot to do with the naysayers and the controversy around these shows. They actually do say a lot of the drop and decline in teenage pregnancy is due to birth control and contraceptives. So that's definitely interesting. Let's see how that all came to fruition. Despite the decline, teenage pregnancy in the US is still one of the highest amongst industrialized countries. So between Canada, France, to be so developed, the rates and to have the accessibility of healthcare that we're supposed to have, it's kind of ridiculous. So what happens to these young girls, right? What do they go through? How did they get here? And how are they going to get themselves out of this life-ruining situation? People wonder. So why not make a show about it? Pregnant teens were usually shunned, right? A lot of teens would keep it a secret from classmates, would be terrified to tell their parents. And some might still be that way, but I would say arguably before these shows came to our screens, it was a lot more taboo. I think teens were a lot more afraid to get pregnant, I don't know, but to share with people that they were pregnant. Like, what if you're shunned? What if you're kicked out of your house? And I remember being a kid when some of these shows were coming out, and we'll get to our list. I feel like it never made me be like, oh, I want to get pregnant. Like, I feel like I was like, if anything, like preteen, prior to those teenage years, I was even more like, holy crap, I do not want this to happen to me. But I will say it felt like the market was oversaturated. Teen pregnancy was discussed on shows and movies like The Secret Life of the American Teenager in 2008. The Tyra Show pregnancy episode. The Tyra Show was my shit. I used to watch that every day when I came home from school. And they thought it'd be so cute to have a baby and X, Y, and Z. And
teen girls get pregnant, and we're finding out why.
Baby showers are really cute and adorable. I really want to have a baby.
Are you?
It was a really interesting episode, but that just kind of piqued my memory. The Pregnancy Pack, the 2010 movie that was inspired by a true story. My Teen is Pregnant and So Am I, 2013. High School Moms, 2012. 16 and Pregnant, or Bread and Butter, from 2009 to 2014. So the first few seasons. And then we kind of get into the Teen Mom series. So we're going to talk about the Holy Grail, what started the whole teen pregnancy kick. And I mean the most influential show in the genre was 16 and Pregnant. Again, it started 2009. And this was an interesting story because it followed a docu-series format in the form of episodes. So it was featuring different girls per episode for about 4 to 8 months of the pregnancy journey and after. So pregnancy, birth, and after birth. It was a show that made itself kind of clear, right? They knew they had some sort of responsibility or duty. So they would partner with organizations in order to help prevent teen pregnancy. If you guys ever watch the show, they would always have, before every commercial break, it was like, go to itsyoursexlife.org to learn about how ways you can prevent yourself from becoming pregnant. So there was some sort of advocacy going on. It wasn't like they just put the show on and they were like, here's pregnant girls and do what you want with it. There was some sort of conscious effort for that to happen. That did not mean that it was not met with backlash. Kind of enraged audiences and parents. Critics were upset that it promoted and glamorized teen pregnancy and that it kind of just showed the bits and pieces. Parents didn't want their kids watching it. And to be honest with you, I can't blame parents for not wanting that to happen. I get it. I understand. But I do think that people were a little too quick to be up in arms. I think some people also felt, and I can understand this standpoint, that maybe young girls might just want to get pregnant so they can get on reality television. And I think early on, that's not as much of a question. I don't think a lot of girls were as concerned about that. I think we'll talk about it, but later on, as these shows became more popular, I wouldn't be surprised if some people saw that as an opportunity. But my question was the backlash warranted? Statistically, I would say no. And in an individual standpoint, societally, maybe. So according to 2 separate studies from the University of Maryland and Wellesley College, Teen Mom and 16 and Pregnant was responsible for a decline in teen births by 5.7% from 2009. So we don't see any data or evidence that correlates with a rise in teen pregnancy with the show. So statistically, when we're talking about pregnancies and birth, it didn't really have that crazy effect that statistically people were saying. However, I can understand how in your household, if your children were watching this, you could be concerned that your daughter might be one of the few who do get pregnant. Also, another study showed that an increase in search activity about birth control and abortion had sparked conversations on the subject via Twitter. A lot of the taboo around the birds and the bees is talking about it. How much are parents supposed to discuss it without feeling like they're advocating for it, but also being making their kids feel comfortable enough to go to them. And this was a space where teens no longer needed to really go to their parents. It was like they're watching this show. They have these big sisters in a way that you can watch and kind of learn from, but also spark the conversation. And I think as long as the conversation is being had, I think that's valuable. And I think that's very powerful, right? The birds and the bees is something that people do. I think when you make it super taboo, especially for teenagers, they're gonna do it. So why not promote it safely? And that's kind of where I lean on the situation, is looking at the data and the statistics. I don't think the backlash was as warranted as people wanted it to be or were claiming it to be. I think the media kind of blew it out of proportion because technically teen pregnancies were on a steady decline, like we said, since about 2002. However, I can understand how it does shift the stigma though, right? It does normalize it to a sense where some teens could be thinking, you know, maybe I don't want to get pregnant, but if I did, it wouldn't be that bad. I think it's a double-edged sword. I don't think it's something that's black or white, but the stigma behind it, I could understand why putting it at the forefront, having these girls on TV, it could make some people feel like, oh, this is normal. Maybe it's not so bad. So we can debunk that right there. And actually in 2017, pregnancy rates for women 24 or younger reached their lowest recorded level. So these shows really didn't do anything revolutionary to increase teen pregnancy. That just didn't happen. The data does not say so. So now we're going to talk about Teen Mom, which started in 2009 and it is currently going on. We had Teen Mom OG in 2009, Teen Mom 2 in 2011, Teen Mom 3 in 2013, and later on we have Young and Pregnant. As far as the Teen Mom series, it was a really good concept, I would say, for the first, 3-4 years. A lot of these girls, we had seen them on 16 and Pregnant, so they were on 15, 16 when they got pregnant. And by that year 4 of the show, they were still kind of in that young motherhood stage. And I think it was a great way to connect because when you watch 16 and Pregnant, there were some stories that you wanted more of. You wanted to know more, but because they moved on so quick, you couldn't get that. So it was a genius concept to follow some of the girls. I will say this much. I think the show was in its golden years for a while, especially Teen Mom 1 and Teen Mom 2. But I think a disconnect happened as the young girls turn into grown women, right? It's kind of like, why are we calling the show Teen Mom when they're now in their 30s? And we weren't watching teens be moms, which was the appeal. I hate to say the appeal, but was the point of the show. Now we're just watching moms be moms. And if I wanted to watch mom content like that, I could just go watch a vlog on YouTube. It doesn't make sense. It stopped making sense. And in the age of social media, they were also reaping the benefits of being kind of like D-list celebrities, right? This D-list fame, money, endorsements, brand deals. So they weren't really living that struggle life. They didn't really have to go to school at a certain point. Like, it was just kind of like, well, I'll just make money off of social media, maybe start a little brand, a business, which no harm, no foul. But if you're really trying to teach people the realities of being a teen mom and being preventative, it's not realistic that that happens to most girls. So I think it started to create this false reality or false narrative that becomes a little murky. I also think, just on a show standpoint, the drama became stale, redundant, and the appeal of the teen story was just no longer existent. Like, y'all are grown-ass women. Why do I want to care or watch this anymore? Because it's not a teen story. It also began to feel exploitative towards the children of these mothers. The moms were kind of fishing for storylines because of how dead the show was. So if nothing was going on in the mothers' personal lives, let's kind of put a microscope on the children's lives. Like Aubrey, Chelsea's daughter, who they ended up leaving the show, good for her. But it seemed like just so much private information about her father being a deadbeat and talking about that on camera. I mean, that's a lot to deal with. It's pretty personal stuff that I think when they get a little bit older, I don't think they would want that to be everywhere. Even with Macy's storyline with Bentley, I think her kind of talking about him going to therapy and getting in depth with that, I just don't think that's appropriate. And it feels a little icky. Like, it feels like I shouldn't be all up in these kids' business. I have a problem when the content becomes more about the children than it does the moms, because the show is so boring. I think at that point, it's like, let's just end it. We're going to start getting into Teen Mom, Young and Pregnant. So this was a spinoff that happened because I think Teen Mom realized we need a fresh start. I think we don't have any real teen moms anymore. That also created a hit to the franchise. So they made Young and Pregnant in 2018. And to be honest with you, I actually kind of like this series for maybe the first season or two. I think it was a good attempt at a revamp. However, the charm is dimmed a little bit because these girls also by 2018 knew getting on the show could help them kickstart their careers, get them money. I mean, if you see these girls on Teen Mom, they do all of those fake advertisement stories. They run all of those brand deals to get money. And I think a lot of these girls going on, you kind of know, hey, you know what comes with it and the perks and the benefits that can come with being on the show. It was a decent season, but Then 16 and Pregnant did come back for season 6. So 2020 to present. And all I can say about that is that shit is boring. Snooze fest. I tried. They didn't really spend as much time elaborating on the before, the during, the after. Everything felt rushed. And it felt like I was missing something. I don't think it was as informative and as in-depth as it needed to be, like it was when it first came out. Reality TV has become a lot more uncut, real, raw. And I know that's really ironic saying that with reality TV because we know it's not really reality, but people expect more. The simple model of reality TV, oh, I'll just tell you a little bit, doesn't work anymore because it's boring. More on the MTV side, there was Pretty Little Mamas in 2019. Some of you guys might not know about this, but the show was pulled after 2 episodes that accumulated only 440,000 viewers. Embarrassing, right? And then MTV soon announced that they would repackage the show. So they pulled it and they said, nah, we're going to come back with that same cast and concept and basically footage and remodel it as Teen Mom's Young Moms Club. Like, how many fucking shows do we need? It's like, how much do you guys understand? It's just not working. So this show was to be more of like a posh version of Teen Mom. Teen Mom meets The Hills, kind of. But viewers weren't really resonating with that style. That's when they went back to the drawing board to take the clip and remodel it. Between these two, it was a fail. It was a fail. I remember trying to watch Young Moms Club and just didn't do anything for me. It just felt overdone and overplayed. Then there was Teen Mom UK. No comment, but why?
It's up to you. And what was the reason?
So next, we're gonna go into the, I think, rise again of the teen show, right? I think the later years of Teen Mom was the downfall. I think an extra rise came when Unexpected on TLC came out. I was late to it. It came out, I believe, in 2017, but during the pandemic, I was so bored. And I'd been kind of eyeing this show, and I decided to watch it, binged it. So good. The good ones, the informative ones that really told you the real uncut, raw truth was back. It was a fresh take of the show, but it followed a similar model, right? So you have different moms. Some come back for a season, but then you get new ones. So you don't get too bored with anyone's storyline. But it was quite successful. It was a lot less filtered than MTV had started to become. Mind you, in MTV, they started letting the moms call the shots. So Kaylin and some of the moms were like, I don't want to film this, so we're not putting it on TV. So on a reality TV standpoint, I understand you wanting your privacy, but for the show, it's like we're not really seeing what the purpose of the show is at this point. Unexpected was not like that. It's like, we are going to show you guys everything that you want to see and then some. From the candid interviews, the sit downs, it just, the whole package of the show was really good. I think Unexpected was a really good take. It also followed the format of other TLC shows. And we know TLC is a pretty successful network. It's booming right now. So it was kind of only right. I feel like the heavy hitters that I would say kind of shaped the rise, the fall, the rise, the fall. The reunion styles as well. I think that's so important. Reality TVs and reunions go hand in hand. Reunions are usually some of the best episodes of the season. So it's only right that you have a good, juicy reunion special. So Teen Mom reunions at first, you know, it's really hard to evolve with an audience because we were younger, so different things satisfy you. Before, the reunions were cool. I think that they were fine. I didn't really think much of it, but let's get into it because stale as Dr. Drew. Why is this grown doctor therapist guy? Like, it just makes no freaking sense. I don't think it's as much that these girls need like a doctor on stage as they just need somebody to talk to and to really have a genuine connection with. I don't know. I think Dr. Drew misses the mark, and I think they need to get rid of him. I think sometimes he would chastise and he wouldn't really frame the conversation in a way that was productive, in my opinion. You're speaking to teenage girls. I don't think you can get teenage girls to really talk and have an effective conversation with a grown-ass man in his 60s. The moms also pick and choose. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. So it's boring. Unexpected, however, followed a 90-Day Fiancé format, but the TLC reunion format. And we all know those reunions are chaotic, juicy, messy. Everybody gets together. You got the big couch, the big stage. Everybody has an opinion on everyone's drama. It's so good. So let's talk about the fall and the rating decline. The last season's ratings were down by 25%. And viewers actually complained that this past season was the most boring season ever. The ratings had been declining. I know a lot of Teen Mom fans, it's getting stale, it's getting dead.
I'm drained. I'm completely drained.
Honestly, I watch Teen Mom as background noise. Like if I need something in the background, that's what it's on for. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm not actually watching. And actually, fun fact, over 2 million viewers watched the series debut in 2009, and the most recent episodes haven't even been able to clear over 400,000 views. That says a lot. And I understand the show has been on for a long time. Like maybe it's not worth it anymore. Teen Mom 2, season 10's failed to crack 500,000 viewers for the finale episode. They had not seen ratings that low, and it brought in only 470,000 viewers total. They said that the show 2 years prior was bringing in on average 900,000 viewers per episode. So for 2 years to go by, something's not working. Now we go to Young and Pregnant. It debuted in 2018, my bad, with 660,000 viewers. Climbed, its peak was 800,000 views in the first season, but people stopped kind of tuning in after second season with only about 470,000 views per episode. The most recent season, their premiere was only 260,000 viewers. Again, that's not horrible, but compared to the popularity of the show, it's not good. So let's see Adversely Unexpected. Roughly 1 million viewers tuned into season 1 premiere and hit peak in its third season, with the tell-all at about 1.4 million viewers in 2019. As the ratings were starting to plummet in Teen Mom, we see in 2017, we're getting millions of viewers tuning in with Young and Pregnant. So they had something, a sauce, a formula that just was fresh, that people were looking for, that the other show just didn't have. Interestingly enough, though, in season 4, episodes were reaching only about 493,000 viewers. So, in my opinion, despite the show being absolutely superior, maybe now we're seeing that it's not maybe the formatting or the type of show or how they're filming it, but it might be that the teenage pregnancy shows just aren't of interest to people like they used to be. So let's talk about what really happened. Why did it rise? Why did it fall? And why did it rise to fall again? Ultimately, I just believe with the MTV teen pregnancy franchises, I think they rode it till the wheels fell off, and it fell off. There's one creaky wheel. It's not working. You're also capping your viewership with, especially the Teen Mom shows. We've been following these girls since they were 16. So if you weren't around in 2010, 2011, and you haven't been following their journey, why would a new viewer come in to watch a season 10 when they have no idea what's happening? Actually, it's quite confusing because you'd be watching and saying, this is called Teen Mom, but they're like 30. There is no room to gain new viewers. It's not really connecting. Old viewers are not interested anymore. So without prior context of the story or the history, the show serves absolutely no purpose. It's not interesting enough to stand on its own. Overall, my conclusion and my theory on the rise and fall of the teen pregnancy shows, I think it just became an idea of, okay, we get it. Teenage pregnancy, bad. Okay. I think it destigmatized it a little bit, and some people could say that's a negative or a positive. Statistically speaking, I think it did more good than it did harm. I think it was more educational than it did harm. the idea of teen pregnancy. I think these shows in about 5 years will be completely obsolete. Like Teen Mom tried to do that spinoff, snooze fest. I'm kind of waiting. I think they'll be pulling the plug in the next few years. I just don't see the point anymore. Overall, guys, that's kind of my analysis and my commentary on teenage pregnancy shows. Tried to give you guys some numbers and figures to put everything into perspective. But yeah, let me know what you think. Do you guys think that these shows were more harmful than they were positive? I don't even know if you would say positive, but please hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.